Chodesh Tov, my name is Adele Nemirov. I've had the privilege of learning in the Matan Eshkolot program this past year, and I'm so excited today to share the Dvar Torah with you about the month of Tammuz. When we think of the month of Tammuz, we might think of Shavasar B'Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz, which is a fast day where we commemorate 5 different events that happened to the Jewish people. To review those events in sort of reverse chronological order, it was the day that 3 different things happened in a war with the Romans. The walls of the city of Jerusalem were breached by the Romans, an idol was placed in the temple, and the Romans burnt a Torah scroll. Additionally, this is also the day in a war with the Babylonians that due to a lack of supplies, the Jewish people had to stop bringing the Korban Tamid, the daily offering, which is also a big tragedy. And then the 5th event we'll get to in a second. Tammuz is named after a Babylonian god, as Rashi explains in Sefer Yechezkel. And this was the Babylonian god of the sun, which typically in ancient cultures, the sun really symbolized nature as a whole. So I think it's very interesting that we name this month after the Babylonian god of the sun. It can't just be because it's hot outside in Tammuz and it's the summer, because a lot of things mean heat, but very few of them also are the name of a Babylonian god. So that's one piece of it. And the other piece is that this is also the day that after Matan Torah, 40 days after Matan Torah, Moshe broke the Luchos. And just to review, the Jewish people leave Egypt, they arrive at Har Sinai, they receive the Torah, and Moshe goes up to Har Sinai for 40 days to learn with Hashem and to accept the Torah on behalf of the Jewish people. And when he comes down, due to a miscalculation by the Jews about when Moshe would come down, he arrives not at a celebration of the Torah, but at a celebration of an idol, of the golden calf. And upon seeing the celebration, Moshe took the luchos and broke them and shattered them. And I think that we typically see this as a very big failure in the history of the Jewish people. However, at the end of Devarim, Rashi comments on the last pasuk in the Torah, and he says the pasuk describes the great things that Moshe did, le'enei kol Yisrael, before the eyes of all the Jewish people. And Rashi points out in his last comment on the entire Torah that this thing that Moshe did in front of the eyes of all the Jewish people was breaking the luchos. And he adds that Hashem was very grateful to Moshe for having the ingenuity and the creativity and for taking the initiative to break the luchos at this time. So what's going on? Rashi explains elsewhere in a medrash that breaking the luchos was like an individual who was bringing a marriage contract on behalf of the king to his bride. And upon arriving and seeing that the bride, for some reason, wasn't ready to accept the terms and the conditions of the contract, he ripped up the contract before it was finalized, before it was accepted, and he saved the bride from great punishment. And in the same way, Moshe realized that the Jewish people weren't ready to accept the Torah in its ultimate form, in its form that Hashem wanted it at that time, and he broke the luchos and he broke the contract so the Jewish people wouldn't be punished. So let's talk about the sun god. The Jewish people, when they realized, they believed that Moshe was coming late, they panicked, they didn't know what to do, they thought they had no leader anymore, and they approached Aaron and they asked him to make them a new physical leader. Because the Jewish people, after leaving Egypt, weren't able to adjust to the new reality of being chosen by Hashem and of Hashem being the one who was leading them and Moshe just being an emissary. So they said, we need a new physical leader, make us something, and Aaron made them the golden calf to replace Moshe. And this mistake stemmed from them seeing themselves as natural people, just like any other nation. All other nations have physical leaders. Why can't the Jews have a physical leader too? However, the goal of the Torah was to help the Jews realize that they weren't just being led by Moshe, they weren't just being led by a person, they were being led by Hashem. And we as Hashem's people are able to overcome nature and are able to see past nature, and we're not just affected by nature, we're able to do things well beyond nature. And the fact that this month is named after the Babylonian sun god, the god of nature, is a sign and an opportunity for us to take that perspective of the Jews and to flip it on its head. And that we have the second chance of having this moment of complete panic because we think that we're so subject to nature, and to say, wait a minute, we're not. We're Hashem's people, and Hashem is looking out for us, and Hashem at the end of the day is in control. And in a month where there's so much brokenness and so much tragedy commemorated throughout history, it's an opportunity for us to really see Hashem's hand and Hashem's role in the world. And I think that this is true at all times in history. It has been especially true for the past several weeks, at least in Israel and throughout the Jewish world, where things might seem bleak and things might seem like they're going in a negative direction. But we also have the opportunity to do tshuva for the sin of the golden calf and to do tshuva for many of the things in our lives that have come about because we really weren't able to internalize this message and to see Hashem in everything that happens to us. And I want to give us a bracha through the month of Tammuz and throughout our lives that we're able to take what might seem to be the nature of the month of Tammuz and to really flip it on its head and to look at our lives and to look at our challenges as times when we're able to capitalize on our relationship with Hashem and have it bring us forward to a time of true Geula and the Beis HaMikdash b'mehera b'yameinu. Thank you.